Canva is a powerful web-based graphic designer tool. They have Pro, Teams, and Enterprise plans available starting at $15 per month, and they go up from there. In addition to these tiers, they also have a free plan, which still includes text, graphics, images, videos, animated elements, and more. You don't get background remover and you can't export transparent graphics, but I've done graphics for several Streamyard live shows with the free plan of Canva. To see that step-by-step tutorial, stick around for the full video. Okay, so here we are looking at Canva dashboard for my free plan. Now I do have a pro plan, but this account, the one that I'm using today, actually is the free plan. A lot of different functionality, things that you can do here. And you can see even at the top, it says try pro for 30 days for free. First thing we want to do is to create a new design. You can see that right here at the top. You can click to create a new design. And you have a number of different things that will come up here. One of the things that I like to do is to do custom size right here. And then I will just put in 1920 by 1080. Now, 1280 by 720 is what Streamyard says, but 1920 by 1080 gives you the same aspect ratio, and it will work for basically any of the things that you see in the bottom of the screen. 16 by 9 presentations, talking presentations, video 1080p is 1920 by 1080, desktop wallpapers, brain. Listen, they're all there. They're all in that size format, and you simply would click to create your design. I've got a design already set up. I've called it Stream Designs, and you can see again here, they're asking me to try Pro for 30 days. You're gonna get that a lot, but I'm telling you, the free plan of Canva is something definitely to look into and to be aware of, because there's just so much functionality there. And every time I hear people saying things like, man, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to get this, how do I bring these graphics in? How do I do these things? How do I level up my stream without having to pay? Here is one of those ways, and I hope that you're gonna lock in with me for this quick tutorial. So here we're looking at a black background, and you can change this color to whatever you want simply by changing the background color. When you click on that, you have a number of different colors that come out here. I'm gonna leave it at black, but you just kind of get an idea of what are some of the colors or some of the functionality that you can utilize here in Canva. So that's one thing that I think is great. So to start, we wanna pick some elements that we're gonna add to our background. Now, I want to say this, one of the reasons why you're going to hear me say background a lot, when we're talking about the free plan of Canva, you cannot export transparent overlays. Transparent meaning you have a little graphic, a lower third, or something that you're going to put on top of your camera. You can't get that to be transparent with the free plan of Canva. If you do have the pro plan of Canva, then you can actually utilize the background remover. You can export as transparent, and you can create those as overlays to put in Streamyard on top of your camera or on top of your guest camera. But what I'm going to be showing you is how to create some designs that are backgrounds that you can export from the free version of Canva and then utilize them in Streamyard or whatever other streaming platform you decide to go with. So here is a blank background that is black. One of the things I do want to add to the background first, of course, is some elements. So I'm going to click on elements here. I want to add a line, and so some lines would be good. Also love to add my logo and some frames. So here is an example of that. I'm just going to put these on this one here, and you can see that this is a line. So this line is here. I can change the color of this line, and then I can duplicate this line. Control-C, Control-V, and once I have that duplicated, I can move that line just below. I want there to be a little bit of space. I'm going to change that color to white. These are some of my brand colors, and I'm going to duplicate that line and change that one to kind of a slate color. It's not quite black, but it's slate. And I'm actually going to change the color of this background so you can see that a little bit better with what I have already done. So you can see what that looks like. I kind of want these a little bit closer, and when you want them a little closer, you can just select it and use your arrows, the arrows on your keyboard to be able to adjust it so that those lines are a little bit closer, and it'll tell you when you've matched them up. So that's what those lines look like. Another thing to be able to do is to highlight all three of them and hit group. You can see where it says group there, and then that allows me to move them all together as a group. And that is very helpful, especially when you go to look at your layers. You want to be able to adjust some things. You want to be able to move those pieces that are a group together as a group. So that's what I would do first. I always like to have some lines on the screen. I find that it gives some symmetry. It allows people to kind of get their bearings in terms of where everything is. So that would be the first thing I do, is some lines. Next thing I like to do is add a logo. And I've uploaded my logo here already, but the next thing I want to do is click on elements. So I wanted to show you that. Click on elements and then ask for a frame. So I'm looking for a frame, and some of the frames that are here, let's see, all frames. And so there's a number of frames here, and these green area means that you can slide a picture or image into that frame, and that image will take the size of that frame. So there's a ton of these here. And so here, I think, is one that I can use. I like this one. So I'm going to pull that onto the screen. And now I'm going to go into my upload section. So when you go to your upload section, you can click to upload files. So if I click that, you'll see that my computer comes up, and I can find my logos and whatever else that I want to use. In this case, I already have it. So I'm just going to select it and drag it into the frame. Now that frame, I'm going to make that a little bit smaller and put it right in the middle of the screen, right at the top. I need it to be smaller. And then I'm also going to select it and change the frame, the color of the frame. Now my brand color is purple. So I don't know what yours is, but you would want to make sure you have some of those colors added into your brand kit. You can do that by simply taking some time, finding out what those hex codes are, and you can build that out that way. So now we've got my logo in the top. I've got my lines on the screen as well. Now the next thing I want to do is be able to add some frames. If I'm going to have some 16:9 cameras on the screen, I want to be able to add a little border around them so that it gives it a little bit of a pop when people see it. So when I go back over here to elements, and you're going to go to elements a lot because that's where a lot of the magic is. You go into elements and you type in square. If I can type. All right, we got a square. And so now I've got a shape. I'm going to hit that, bring that onto the screen. And now I've got a square. And so the other thing to do here is, if you have a image or a picture, something that is already the right size. So this is the size of a camera, what a normal camera would be. I try to bring this on just as a cheat code to ensure that I have it set to the right size and to the right length. So I'm going to pull this down to here, Now I know I have that square at the right size. I can delete the image and pull this into place and pull that there. Now Control C, Control V, pull this over to the other side. And you can see that Canva is actually giving me some framing, some lines to let me know that they're balanced, they're even, and there's a balance in terms of the size between them. So this is another great thing to keep in mind. And now that I have these like this, I have a designed background. Now, I may want to change this color so that it's a perfect white, because I do want my border around my cameras to be a white. And so this is how I would basically create an entire scene in the background in the free version of Canva for my live stream with Streamyard. So I'm going to show you a couple other examples that I built out already. Here's another one that you can see here. In fact, let's go back up to the top here. The last thing I want to show you is that I do always put a image in the background. So one of the things you want to do, even in the free version of Canva, is go to Photos. All right. So I think you're still going to go into Elements and then we're going to look at Photos. We don't want AI generator. We want Photos. You see where it says Photos here, and we click to see all. Now in your Photos section, you can actually type what you want here. Now, I normally type something like the world or an atlas or something like that. I like to have something like that in the background. Another thing that's really cool is that it will show you previous recently used ones as well. So imagine this is an option. So if I put this onto the screen, now let me do that one more time so you can see that a little bit better. I'm going to drag this. You see, if I just click it, it's going to just put it on the screen. That's not what you want. So we can go back over here, select it, and get rid of it. What we want is for it to take up the background. So I've got to find a way for it to take up the background. Now, once I've done that, you right click on it and you just say replace background. Now it's in the background of your design. So if we right click on this again, we go right click and then go to layer and say show layers. Now you can see all the different layers that are in your design. The background, you can see the lines, you can see the logo and the two squares. So you kind of have an idea of where things are. And if you shift things up above or below, let's say we put the lines above the two squares, you'll see those that now it will show the lines above the two squares. We don't want that, so I'm going to move them back. But that's the idea of having the layers feature. And again, that is free. This is a honeycomb design, but you can see that is a pro graphic. So I can't use that here in the free plan of Canva. Here is yet another design that is not a pro graphic. Anything with this little king hat on it is a pro graphic, and you want to make sure you don't use those. I mean, if you want to, you got to make sure you pay for the pro plan. But so this is what I would do here. Last thing I always do is I make sure to add my website. I make sure to add my website. So I did that very quickly and I didn't tell you what I was doing. So let me do that one more time. I'm going to hit the T button. T is for text, L is for line, C is for circle. So I'm just going to hit the T button and that gives me some text. Okay, so let's grab this, pull this down here. I'm going to highlight everything in there and just say kirkrnugent.com. Going to make that a little bit bigger. Want that font to be bold, want the text to be probably white, and probably want to change that to another type of font. And again, you have multiple types of fonts here in the system. And I move this to the corner, make it just a little bit bigger. And again, this is going to be a really clean look for this design. We're almost done. The last element, I always like to have like a little www icon next to my website. So let's see here. Let's go to website. There's some there. Oh, I see what the problem is. I'm still in Photos. So I got to go back out of Photos, make sure I'm in Elements. Then I can go to www and it will show me some graphics, and these graphics are exactly what I want. But again, I'm looking for one that is doesn't have the pro feature on it. And so now this one doesn't have the pro feature and I like it. So I'm going to hit that, add it to the screen and just pull it down here next to my website and make it smaller. Doesn't quite look that good once I've pulled it in. So let me try a different one. And then this one, maybe I can change the color to white. I can, and just pull that down next to my website. And once it's at the right size, I can actually use my mouse on my keyboard, I should say, to bring it to the middle. So that I will also group, and so that I can move them together. The last thing I want to share here is, this is one design, but the background is what I want for pretty much whatever I'm doing, regardless of what cameras are on screen or anything else. So the beautiful thing about Canva is that it has this little button here called duplicate page. And when you duplicate your page, it allows me to have this page as one background and maybe this page as a different background. So I can get rid of this. I can make this a little bit bigger. Again, we want to keep that aspect ratio. So just pulling the bottom, we want to keep that aspect ratio so we can actually pull that bottom and make that keep that 1920 by 1080 size to it. But let me show you some of these examples before we show these inside of Streamyard. Here's one example where I just kept my name and my website, I should say, and the website icon. I have my logo here. You can see the lines. You can see that this white square is here, and that's where I have designed for my camera to be. I like to call this the welcome screen. The thing that is cool or unique about this one in particular is that I have actually put a video in the background, and I export this as a MP4 and import it into Streamyard as a video background. And so this will be what people would see when I welcoming them to the show. This one, you know, looks familiar because we just built it out. It has that same background we used before. It has the lines. It has my camera square here for it to have that frame around it, and it makes sense in a second. And we still have my website on the bottom. This one allows me to have maybe my presentation or something else, and then a cropped version of my camera. And again, everything in the background is the same. This one allows me to have myself, a guest, maybe a presentation, maybe a screen share. And again, that background is the same. And then this one is yet another video background that I'm going to play as I get ready to say thank you so much for watching the show. And that is essentially all the designs I'm going to need. So let's head over to Streamyard. And in the interest of time, I've loaded a lot of these functions and features into the system already. So let's just get the right camera and let's get this going. So here, the thing to do is to put your upload your video. So this is the welcome screen. So I'm going to upload that into the system. And once I have that uploaded, I can now build a new layout. Now, this is the way to do this in Streamyard, is to build a new layout. So hit cancel. We're going to hit new layout, and we just hit add item, camera slot. And then we just kind of frame it up. We're making sure that that white part is still visible and able to be seen. So you can see what that looks like. And once we have that saved, I'm going to save it and call that welcome. So we say save that, save as new layout. Now that is there. I'm going to add my camera to the stage and utilize that welcome layout, and you can see that white border is around my camera. Now, I think that can be cleaned up yet a little more. So I'm going to pull that down some, hit save, update layout, and there you have it. Now you can see that white border around my camera, and you can see that video moving in the background. And this is how I would welcome people to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, here again, we have a different background. And as I change the background, my camera doesn't change, but at least I can see where I need to change things. So quickly, we just click the edit button, move this into place, make this a little smaller, that a little bigger, and then we can say save and say save as new layout, and we can make that change there, and we can actually rename that layout. Okay, and so we rename those layouts here when we go into the layout section, and we can simply go to this one and say rename. I just forgot to name it properly when I saved it, so we'll call this solo. Say save So that layout. So this one, you can, when I hover over it, it's welcome. This one, when I hover over it, it is solo. And if I move to this one, I can change that one. When I move to this one, I can change that one, and your layout is ready to go. Here we have yet another. I'm going to actually add a presentation. So let's get some slides going here. This is a good one. And let's do a different one. Let's do this one. All right. So here I'm changing my background. And so now I've got to edit my layout again. I'm going to put my camera over on this layout now, and I'm going to have to change this. So instead of fit, I want it to be fill. I'm going to change this, squeeze that right down. You can see that I'm dropping it right into place, right above that. Then I'm going to add another item, media slot. We'll put this right into place and put that right there. Media slot, you cannot, there we go. So we hit that, we hit save. Now, here's where I should have done it before. So I'm going to say presentation, solo, and I'll say save as new layout. And so now, save as new layout, that presentation solo is there. I can click this and boom, we have our presentation. And here I can go through my presentation with slides. I'm just using a PDF that I've already uploaded to Streamyard. So that is a great way to do it. Then another would be the 2-person, right? So let's get another camera in here, extra camera. Let's get that one in. We'll say share. So now we have an extra camera. I will simply go to edit this layout, and for this one, we'll just move that right up. And this is a really great thing to know about, right? So now that I have that set to what I wanted, I can click this and I can actually hit duplicate. That gives me camera 2, and I can put it into place, and you can see that even Streamyard is giving me those lines to let me know that it is in the right place. I'm gonna add that to the stage, hit save. 2-person, presentation to 2-person is what we'll call it. And we'll say save as new layout. And when I'm selecting that layout now, you can see that is how the presentation will go. And I'm just using the arrows on my keyboard to go between the different slides. And I want to be clear that I'm using a presentation now, but I could very easily share my screen. I could even play a video and it would look this way. And then of course we have this final screen. And I will just go ahead and again, we'll probably go to, maybe say this one, and this one already works for this scene because it's the same scene that we designed for this one, right? So this one, we called it welcome. We probably just need to go back into the settings and rename this layout welcome and close. Welcome/close or something like that. Close. And so now, yep, it did work. So now when you hover over it, you'll see welcome/close is there. We have the solo, we have presentation solo, we have presentation 2-person. And so now you're ready to go. You're all ready to go. I mean, so you've got your welcome screen here. You've got your solo where you're welcoming everybody to the show. You've got this other one where we're doing a full presentation, change the background there. And you've got this other one where you've got 2 people in the spot as well. And notice when I switch between them, even though all of those are added to the screen, it only uses the camera that it knows is supposed to be in that particular layout. And the other cheat code to be mindful of here is to essentially put an overlay on, right? Let's say you have just a regular flyer for your show. You put that overlay up, and I can change this to the presentation layout, select the 2-person background, and then take the flyer off. And that makes it a lot more seamless. Almost makes it seem like, it was a scene change. And that's another great place to use video clips as well. Because, again, that just punches up your production value for what you're doing in your web-based streaming platform, whether it be Streamyard or something else. Free plans are limited, but pack a big punch. If you're leveraging everything they are giving to you, you're gonna get a lot out of them. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more free plan tutorials or even paid plan tutorials from Canva. Did you know that Streamyard still has a free plan too? In this video right here, I show you how to maximize the use of the free plan of Streamyard. It has its limitations, but there's a lot you can do similar to Canva. Click right here to watch, and I'll see you over there. Grace and peace, fam.